It's WWTCD. What would Tom Cruise do? Because getting Julie and Eve back is not mission impossible, it's wishing impossible. Genie is a Peacock original from director Sam Boyd, who's done television shows and movies like In a Relationship, and was written by Richard Curtis, who actually has written some pretty goddamn endearing, nicely romantic comedic dramas like Notting Hill, Love Actually, that really showed that you can be a piece of shit to your wife when you shouldn't, your loyal wife. What the hell, Alan Rickman? What the goddamn hell? Love Actually really is kind of a shit holiday movie. Nevertheless, he also did Bridget Jones' Diary 1 and 2, Electric Bridget Jones' Boogaloo, and War Horse, and About Time. It's about time! So yeah, Melissa McCarthy plays Flora. She's a genie that is brought into the modern age by Bernard, who played James in Men. We're Men in Tights. Check out my review of Men. I enjoy talking about that movie, even if the last 30 minutes of it still haunt me and will haunt me till my dying days. Speaking of dying days, this movie represents the dying days of good Christmas movies. Look, I don't expect much when I see modern Christmas movies, and I recently watched Xmas, and this about Melissa McCarthy playing a genie that's a fish out of water, so to speak, and is just granting wishes with, spectacularly hilarious results. No. See, Melissa McCarthy actually seems endearing in interviews and actually really nice, and at times she can be funny. She's been funny on some appearances on SNL and in other movies, not the Ghostbusters movie. But when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, okay, this looks especially generic and cheap and not very good and just hacked out by a studio to just say, okay, we need Christmas content. We can't focus on good Christmas content, so let's just do this. And if I'm not tipping my hand far enough yet, let me just tell you, I hated this movie. However, I didn't hate it as much as Xmas because at least this kind of, I don't know, had at least halfway decent acting to it. I mean, it wasn't great. It definitely wasn't great. Yeah, workaholic man basically loses his job, his family, and finds a jewelry box where he gets Melissa McCarthy out of it because she's a genie in a jewelry box. You got to rub her the right way. I would have actually done that for the intro, but this movie doesn't deserve me to use a great song by Christina Aguilera, who I saw in concert in 2000, and she sounds just as incredible in an arena as she does in the studio. Also, apparently is an immortal because she looks exactly the same now as she did when she first started making her music. Good for her. So yeah, the snowy Universal logo and a whole bunch of stuff, and it's Melissa McCarthy doing comedy that isn't even up to her standards. I mean, I know what the movie was going for, and I get it, and I don't fault the actors. I think they did the best they could. But watching this, I just kept thinking, it's mind-numbing, it's lacking in anything good, anything substantial. There's nothing to sink your teeth into. There's a syrupy, sugary, sweet, feeling about it, and it just coats the movie, but also you can see everything coming from a mile away, and there's nothing that tugs on the heartstrings or anything, even if you've had family issues around Christmas, or even if you've freed Melissa McCarthy from a jewelry box. If you have, put her back in and let somebody else do this. Stop, don't do this anymore. Alan Cumming is in this. I promise you all, I reacted to that last night with the good taste and maturity that everybody has come to expect from me. Danny Benton was in it. Luis Guzman, who apparently will just be in anything now, and Luis Guzman actually is a pretty good actor. The young girl that played the daughter, she's fine. It's not a good movie. You can check it out on Peacock if you got it. If you're like me, and I know I'm like me. If I wasn't like me, who the fuck else would I be? And you have Peacock basically for the WWE section and also for the occasional movies. They have some good, fresh from theater releases. They also have the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. This movie is better than the Five Nights at Freddy's movie because at least you actually can call this a movie. But yeah, Genie is just that. It's about Melissa McCarthy as a genie, and there really isn't anything to spoil. I am going to get into spoilers in a little bit. But yeah, you get little side stuff, and you get characters trying to be funny, and they really aren't, and none of the comedy is good. The special effects are absolutely terrible, and I know this was put out on streaming, but Jesus Christ, I've seen movies from the 90s that have special effects that have aged better than this. So, what is the point of this shit is what I kept writing down numerous times while I watched this. And yeah, that's really all I have to say right there. I was trying to see if I had anything else to say. Nope, check it out on Peacock if you want. Getting into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So yeah, Flora, Melissa McCarthy, was trapped in that box for, she said 2,000 years. Yet, it looked like a Renaissance fair that she was at where she stole a jewelry box, and an evil sorcerer from hell, as she called him, put her in the box. Because why not? Yeah, let's just say that Bernard isn't, he means well with his family, but he's working so hard for his boss, Flaxman, played by Alan Cumming. Ha ha ha. Sorry, I'm mature, I swear. He misses his kid's birthday, Bernard does. And all this stuff. And basically his wife decides, hey, we're going to go keep it separated. Hey. And the special effects are horrendous, is what I noted a few times. They must have basically threatened the two people working on these things with their livelihoods if they didn't hack these things out as quick as possible. And also, Richard Curtis must have just been thrown a bunch of money and said, we don't care how good this is. People will watch it, suckers like me, so just write it. You wrote good stuff, so write this shit. And then, after he frees Flora, we get some funny comedy with an obscene amount of rare male camel toe. You're welcome for that. And there's also the side character, Lenny, who kind of dresses up like Tom Hanks in the Polar Express. He's actually the guy that runs he's actually the guy that calls for cabs and everything, the bellhop at the hotel, or the apartment. That's what I was trying to think of. And since it's in New York, apparently, we know that from outside shots of New York. I don't know if it actually was. I don't really give a shit. But Lenny has dreams and talks about alternate universes. Like maybe he knew people in alternate universes, and there's a version of Bernard that's really, really happy. I wish that there was an alternate universe where this movie didn't exist. So, then there's some comedy about, an extra large pepperoni pizza with extra pepperoni. Now I want pizza, and fortunately I have some in the fridge, but I'm going to have to order more later, because I'm going to be watching more movies like this. And then there's a Genie credit card. Unlimited wishes. It's like, it's not going to bear, percentage rate, or interest rate rather, than Nicole's charge card. Trust me, I worked at Kohl's. It's bullshit. And they can't, basically genies cannot grant, or cannot, change people's feelings, and you can't go back in time. Can't be time after time. So, she is in love with all the, all the modern conveniences and everything, loves coffee. She knew Jesus and thought he was kidding about being the child of God. Have I mentioned that Melissa McCarthy just is not that funny to me? Maybe I'm being too harsh on this, but this just felt so safe and hacked out and not good. I'm not saying take chances. I'm not saying I wanted, the genie to be evil and everything and all this terrible stuff to happen, but my God. Also, she has a dagger and threatens to kill people a couple times. Like this one guy, Johnny, Julie meets, that could be a new guy for her after separating everything. Apparently she was talking to him, and apparently this moved really, really quickly. And Lenny also likes Flora. Hey, maybe we met in a different life. And Flora falls in love with Tom Cruise movies. I think Melissa McCarthy might actually be taller than Tom Cruise. I don't know why that makes me laugh. None of the characters are any good. None of the jokes land, except with a resounding thud and falling into the earth and then into the earth's core to hopefully burn up and never be heard from again. And then she brings his family over. His family has a great Christmas and everything. At one point, one guy gets sent to hell because they each have 3 wishes, but Bernard has unlimited wishes. Just letting the genie out of the bottle and just fly out in the middle, fly out for everybody to see. And Eve comes over. She's got everything she wants, but she really just wants, her mom and dad to be back together. And Laura basically, Laura ends up, creating a, fireplace there, but they don't have a chimney, which leads to a fire that, leads to Bernard's arrest, and that leads to Luis Guzman coming in, and then Flora gets arrested, and then they basically get out of that whole situation. It's really stupid and ridiculous. I did kind of like how they did the magic carpet thing. It was not as good as the Aladdin live-action remake, which did have Naomi Scott as Jasmine. That was appealing. And then, yeah, basically his, let's see. So, he decides to grant, or he decides to make some more wishes. Like his old boss, Flaxman, he has him give away his entire fortune to the homeless and everything to pay him back for basically being kind of a full-on dick. I mean, draining his entire bank account, bit much, but then again, Alan Cumming is great at playing a villain. And he appreciates what Flora has done for him and all this and everything and all these wishes. And then he has a gift for her. A Tom Cruise sweater. And his final wish is for her to be free. I wish I was free from this goddamn movie. And then he has 3 wishes left. Because the genie is no longer bound to him. And she's not sure what she's going to do. I hope you remember, I hope you remember me and everything. As that Sarah McLachlan song plays. I like Sarah McLachlan. And she writes some numbers down on a piece of paper. And it turns out to actually be the timestamp and the date of when he could go back in time. Because it turns out you actually can go back in time. And he goes back in time. And he blows off his boss and quits. And he's with his wife and daughter. They go to a fancy restaurant. And then they're all happy together. Seemingly he got another job somewhere selling stamps. I don't know. And then he goes to the pizza joint. And sees Lenny. He's achieving his dream. And him and Flora are together. Yeah. That's all I got to fucking say about the Genie gets an F. I'm sorry. It's not one of the worst things that I've seen, even though it sounds like I'm really ripping on. It is a terrible movie. It is by no means the worst Christmas movie I have seen in a while. But this is dog shit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.